Hey guys, how's it going? Hope you guys have had a great weekend. And today I got an NU match from Pokemon Showdown. And I made this team earlier today, and it pretty much started out with me using Persian initially, because I really like using Persian NU now, because it has Fake Out, Taunt, and then U-Turn. And those three in tandem, just back and forth, just doing all three of those like over and over again against pretty much any kind of team, racks up on damage, racks up on timers like for Trick Room or Hail or anything crazy they're doing. And overall it's been very nice to use. But other than that, I do have some interesting stats on here which you're probably going to see in the video. But things that stand out, I'm using Primeape now because Primeape did move down from RU to NU. And I use Primeape a lot in RU. And I was rather pleased because it gets punishment, which not many things get that I've really paid attention to. And it makes it pretty fun. But looking at his team, it's a little weird at first, but it really hit me because, like, as you're going to see, he goes for Trick Room, and that obviously makes a Trick Room team. And I was a little bit scared because that Marowak can do absurd amounts of work if he goes like Sol Rock and then goes for a Baton Pass or something, and like after a Trick Room, it can do a lot of damage and it can be really scary. But other than that, it doesn't seem that bad because, like I said, I do have this Persian, and this Persian will play a role in preventing that Trick Room and stalling it out with Fake Outs and whatnot. But getting right into the battle, I started with my Persian, who'd have guessed. He goes out with Solrock, and I like to go for the Fake Out here just because, but he actually goes into his Mischievous, which I found a little bit interesting. I'm not sure if he was predicting that or not, but I know for a fact this Mischievous cannot touch me at all if I go for the taunt, because he probably only has Shadow Ball. So I know he's going to go for the switch. I get some momentum going with U-Turn as he brings in his Marowak. And I accidentally click Flareon here, and I'm like, oh crap, this is really bad, because I don't want to lose Flareon, obviously. But this Flareon does have the Baton Pass, so I just Baton Pass out and bring in my Seadra, which is a Violite Seadra, and it's physically defensive, because Seadra has relatively good base defense, I realized. And it has a Scald, Ice Beam, and a couple of things. But it seems pretty interesting, as he brings in his Duosian, which was like, okay. This thing is kind of like a mini Reuniclus in the NU tier, but at the same time it's kind of not. So at first I had a little bit of mixed feelings. But he goes for a Trick Room and Recover and whatnot. And right here I go for the Disable. This Seadra carries Disable, mainly because a lot of physical attackers cannot get through it in like 2 hits. Sometimes it takes up to 4 hits to take it out. And when I disable him, that just makes it live even longer. And I do have the rest on there to make it live even longer than that. But right here, I go into my Persian after his Duosian takes out my Seadra, and I do the typical Fake Out, U-Turn, get out of there. I get a crit, which I'm not sure if it mattered or not, and he brings in his Natu here, and I switch into my Vileplume, and right here I make a giant misplay. I predicted him to switch out, because I figured, okay, he's going to switch after a Trick Room to try to get a sweep going or something. But no, I go for the Sleep Powder here, and it gets bounced back, which, in retrospect, that probably wasn't the best idea, because it is a Natu, and I know it has the Magic Bounce, but I was like, ugh. But I choose to stay in, because he can't really touch me, and I just keep going for the Giga Drain repeatedly, because it hits 3 or 4 of his Pokemon super effectively, or not super effectively, just regularly, and it works out. I do get the 2-turn Sleep, I believe, and I get a Giga Drain off on his Solrock, and it does a good 40%, and that's with the light screen up, so right there I know I'm in pretty good shape. But right here, he brings in his Mischievous, and I wasn't really sure what I wanted to do to this Mischievous, because my Giga Drain and Sludge Bomb do not do anything to it, so I was a little bit worried at this point. So I go into my Metang trying to get rocks up, or just try to burn time or something like that, as he goes for the Will-O-Wisp. And I wasn't too thrilled about that, but this Metang is not like a sweeper or anything. It's more of a Stealth Rock, occasionally Toxic kind of Metang. But it does have the Meteor Mash and the Earthquake, so it works out kind of well. Except I missed this Meteor Mash, which was kind of dumb, but I guess he was going for the Pain Split, so if I would have gotten him low enough, it kind of would have hurt me. So I can do that because he knows that a Meteor Mash will take him out, so he switches out. And a Solrock comes in. I go for the super effective Burned Meteor Mash. There's a nice little 30% to it. But right here, I can't take him out with this Meteor Mash, so I'm like, okay, this is a little annoying. But at this point, my Metang's done its job. It's got rocks up, it's done enough. But he chooses to switch out again, and of course, I miss another Meteor Mash, which isn't that bad, because it wouldn't have done that much damage to this Natu anyways. But, I mean, it would have been nice. So in comes Flareon, and Flareon is the MVP of this team by far, mainly because what it does, it has the Guts boost with the Toxic Orb, and then it has Flame Charge, Superpower, Baton Pass, and Facade. And all those make a great combination, because as you see right here, I'm at +2 with Flame Charges, and that means I can outspeed pretty much anything. And Flareon with max attack, Adamant Nature, Guts boosted Facade takes out the Marowak no problem. And at this point, it's going to be a little bit of a Flareon sweep. And it works out very well. I was actually very impressed with this Flareon, because a lot of times I can either just go for a sweep kind of thing, or what I can do is I can go for a Flame Charge, and with the +1 speed I can do something nifty like Baton Pass it out to something else, which on this team is not as useful, but it is fun to do sometimes. Well, I hope you guys enjoyed the battle, and I'll probably be uploading another one probably tomorrow. I have a couple battles saved, but I hope you guys have a good one, and I'll see you later.